bunker below the stars. The sky was full of fire. A warship exploded in the distance, its pieces falling like shooting stars. Eli Carter, a young human engineer, crashed down on an alien planet. His escape pod hit the rocky surface and rolled, down into a dark, cold valley. Eli was hurt. His suit was torn, oxygen was low, and everything around him looked dead. No trees, no animals, just blue sand, black rocks, and silence. Then he saw something strange. A metal door in the ground, half covered in dust. It looked old but not broken. Eli didn't have time to think. He was dizzy, bleeding, and his lungs burned. He pressed a button on the door. With a loud hiss, it opened, revealing a narrow staircase going deep underground. He stepped inside. The door closed behind him with a heavy thud. The bunker was dark and cold. Only a few dim lights blinked on the ceiling. The air smelled like metal and old wires. Eli limped forward, his head spinning. He found a small room with a bed, a table, and broken screens. It looked like someone had lived there once. Maybe a long time ago. He sat on the floor, breathing hard. No food, no water, no signal. He was alone, or so he thought. Hours passed, maybe days. Eli lost track of time. He searched the bunker but found nothing helpful. No power, no radio. He was weak and hungry. His hands were shaking. His lips were dry. Then he heard it. A soft sound. A whisper. Like a hum or a song. He stood still. From the hallway, a shadow moved. Soft steps. Light breathing. Eli picked up a metal rod and held it tight. Someone was coming. The figure stepped into the light, and Eli's eyes widened. It wasn't human. She was tall and slim, with smooth silver skin that shimmered in the light. Her eyes were big, bright, and glowing, like tiny stars. Long white hair fell down her back. She wore a robe made of soft, glowing fabric. She didn't speak. She just looked at him. Eli stepped back. Who are you?" he asked, his voice rough. The alien girl tilted her head as if studying him. Then slowly, carefully, she walked toward him. Her hands were open. No weapons. No threat. She knelt beside him and pulled out a small container from her robe. It looked like a bottle, made of glass and crystal. Inside was a thick, pale liquid, almost like milk. She offered it to him. Eli hesitated. Was it safe? What if it was poison, but he was dying? He could barely move. He took the bottle, sniffed it, then sipped. Warm. Sweet. Not like any milk he knew. But not bad. As the liquid went down his throat, he felt something strange. A calm warmth spreading through his chest. His headache faded. The hunger in his belly eased. The shaking stopped. He drank more. Hours later, Eli was resting on the bed. He felt better. Not perfect, but stronger than before. The alien girl was still there, sitting across the room, watching him. She didn't say a word, but she smiled. Just a little. He tried to talk to her. Simple words. "Name?" he asked, pointing at her. She tapped her chest. "Lura," she said. He smiled. "Eli." They were trapped together. Two strangers from two worlds. But somehow, in that dark bunker, a connection had started. As the lights flickered and strange sounds echoed through the halls at night, Eli realized something important. This bunker wasn't just a place to hide. Something had happened here, something big, and Lura, she knew more than she was showing. The girl with galaxy eyes, Eli, didn't know how many days had passed. There was no sun, no moon. Only silence and strange lights that flickered on and off like a dying heartbeat. The bunker was a world of its own, cold, quiet, forgotten. But Lura was always there. She moved like wind, quiet, soft, always watching, always calm. Eli still didn't know who or what she really was. She looked almost human, but not Quite. Her skin shimmered like metal in the dark. Her eyes glowed like twin galaxies filled with stars. And that milk, the one thing keeping him alive, came from her. How? He didn't know. He had stopped asking. Partly because she didn't answer. Partly because he wasn't sure he wanted to know. One morning, or maybe it was night, Eli woke up to find Lura drawing on the wall with a piece of metal. Curved, lines, circles, strange symbols. But it wasn't random. It was a map. She looked up and saw him watching. Her expression froze. For the first time, he saw fear in her glowing eyes. She quickly erased part of it and stepped away. Eli stood. "What is that?" he asked. Lura shook her head. "Not safe," she said softly. "Not safe for me, or not safe for you?" he asked. She didn't answer. That day, Eli decided to explore the rest of the bunker. Lura didn't stop him, but she didn't follow either. The hall stretched deeper than he expected. Long corridors, rooms sealed shut, rusted doors. Some had old Earth symbols, military stuff. Others had alien signs, glowing faintly, pulsing like veins under skin. He found one door slightly open. Inside, metal beds, broken screens, tubes. A lab. Eli stepped in. The smell was sharp, chemical. Something had gone bad in here. He stepped, over shattered glass, and found a broken terminal. The screen blinked. Project Unity. Status. Abandoned. Subject Niger 24. Human hybrid development. Phase incomplete. Eli stared. Hybrid? Before he could read more, the screen sparked and went black. Suddenly he heard it, a whisper, not Lura's voice. Something else. From behind the wall. He pressed his ear against it. Faint scratching. Breathing. Then, thump, thump, thump. Something hit the wall from the other side. Eli jumped back. The wall was shaking. Dust fell from the ceiling. The sound grew louder. A growl, deep and unnatural. He ran. Back in the living quarters, he found Lura waiting. She looked at him, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. "You found it," she said. "What is this place?" he shouted. "Why is something locked behind a wall? What's Project Unity? What are you?" She turned away. "I was meant to care for you," she said. "To help you survive. That was my only job." Eli stepped closer. "Am I just an experiment?" She looked at him, and this time her voice trembled. "You are more than they planned." "What does that mean?" Before she could speak again, the lights cut out. Darkness swallowed the room. Then came the sound again. Thump. Thump. Shh. This time, it was closer. Eli grabbed a flashlight. Lura stood frozen, her eyes staring at the hallway. "Is that the thing in the wall?" Eli asked. Lura didn't blink. "It's awake." They ran to a sealed door at the end of the hall. Lura placed her hand on a scanner. It opened to a small control room filled with wires and blinking panels. Inside, she activated a backup generator. The lights came back. Dim, but better than nothing. Eli stared at the panels. There were 7 life support units. Only one was still active. His. "What happened to the others?" he asked. Lura didn't answer, but her face said enough. They were gone. Dead, or worse. She turned and pointed at the screen. A camera feed flickered. One hallway was moving. Not the walls, not the camera. Something crawling. Its shape was strange, big, thin limbs, glowing bones. Under its skin, it had no eyes, just a wide-open mouth, full of human teeth. Eli felt cold. "What is that?" he whispered. Lura whispered back. "A mistake." Back in their room, Eli sat on the edge of the bed. His hands were shaking. Everything was wrong. He wasn't just trapped with a mystery alien girl in a bunker. He was trapped in a lab. A secret one. full of dark experiments and dangerous secrets. Laura sat across from him. He stared at her, her glowing skin, her calm face. "Why are you still here?" he asked. "Why didn't you escape?" She looked at him for a long moment. Then, in a quiet voice, she said, "Because if you die, it wakes up fully." The bunker's secret. The silence after Laura's words was louder than any scream. "Because if you die, it wakes up fully." Eli sat frozen on the cold metal bed. His fingers gripped the edge so tightly they turned white. He couldn't breathe, couldn't think. That thing in the walls was connected to him? Later, after the light stabilized, Laura finally spoke again. "You were not the first," she said, sitting by a console. Her voice was softer than usual, almost sad. "There were others." Eli stood, shaky. "Other humans?" She nodded. 7, chosen, brought here to merge with my kind, to test the future. Test? Merge? He laughed bitterly. "What is this? Some kind of sci-fi Noah's Ark?" Her eyes flashed. It was science, but also survival. Our sun was dying. Our species was fading. We thought, if we could combine with yours, maybe we'd live on. Eli stared. "So I'm what? Part of a breeding program?" "You were different," she whispered. "You were the only one who lived longer than 6 days." Eli walked to the wall where Laura had drawn the map. He saw something she had missed before, a faint scratch mark below one of the circles. It looked like a human fingerprint, burned into the wall. He pressed on it. Click. A small panel popped open, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside was a data pad, EarthTech old, covered in dust. He turned it on. It buzzed weakly. The screen blinked. Then, a video played. A man in a lab coat, tired eyes, blood on his face. "This is Dr. Halverson. Project Unity is a failure. The hybrids are unstable. Subjects 3, 5, and 6 attacked the staff. We've sealed the West Wing. Only one test subject remains. Subject 8, he's different, he's adapting. But the creature, it feeds on failed DNA, it's learning. It mimics, it hunts. If Subject 8 dies, it might break containment. To anyone watching this, don't let him die." The video glitched. Ended. Eli dropped the pad. His heartbeat thundered in his ears. Subject 8. Him. He stormed back into the room where Laura was waiting. "You knew all of this, you knew what I was," he snapped. "I didn't lie," she said. "I just didn't tell." "Great, that's so comforting," Eli said sarcastically. "I'm a science project, and if I die, a DNA-hungry monster comes out of the wall like some alien horror movie." Laura walked closer. "You are more than that now. Your body is changing. You're not just human anymore." Eli pulled back his sleeve. His veins shimmered faintly. He hadn't noticed it before, but his skin was different, tougher, stronger. "Why me?" he asked. "Why did I survive?" Laura looked him straight in the eyes. "Because you weren't supposed to." That night the bunker shook, the walls groaned, lights flickered. That sound returned, louder, angrier, a scraping, slithering noise, something crawling, hunting. Eli and Laura ran to the control room. The cameras showed the creature now moving freely in the West Wing, a long hallway full of broken lights and old doors. The beast crawled across the ceiling like a spider, limbs stretching unnaturally. It stopped suddenly and turned toward the nearest camera. It smiled. Eli recoiled. "It sees us." "It always has," Laura said. They needed a plan. Laura pulled out a glowing crystal from her robe. "This powers the escape elevator, but it can only run once." "There's an elevator?" Eli blinked, hidden at the bottom level. "But we never finished building the exit tunnel. You'd be stuck in the ground." "Better than being a midnight snack," he muttered. But just as they turned to leave, the alarm blared. "Alert. Containment breach, Central Sector. Life signs compromised." The creature had found a way in. Running through the metal halls, they passed old test rooms. Eli peeked into one and stopped in his tracks. Inside, a clone of him, or what used to be. It was floating in a tank, its face twisted in agony. Skin cracked, bones stretched wrong, as if the transformation had gone too far. He stepped away. Whatever that creature was feeding on. It wasn't just DNA, it was failure. They reached the elevator, a massive shaft going deep underground. Laura inserted the crystal, and the machine hummed to life. "Once we go down, we can't come back up," she warned. "Not planning on it?" Eli said. But just before they could step in, a loud crash echoed from the hall. The creature was here. It was bigger now, faster. Its limbs moved like shadows. Its mouth opened wide, revealing rows of teeth, some human, some alien. It screamed, and part of that scream sounded like Eli's own voice. Laura shoved him into the elevator and slammed the button. As the doors closed, she reached out and pressed her palm against his. "You will be more than they imagined," she said, "but you must choose what you become." The doors shut. The last thing Eli saw was Laura turning to face the monster, alone. Truth in the dark, the elevator dropped like a stone. Eli gripped the metal railing as wind whipped around him. Old air, thick with dust and secrets. The deeper he went, the darker it became. Lights flickered. The floor numbers flashed past like forgotten memories. B2, B3, B4, B5. Then, the elevator stopped. Total silence. He stepped out. The lower level looked nothing like the rest of the bunker. No rust, no broken walls. Everything here was clean, white, glowing softly like a hospital, or a dream. Eli walked down a long hallway. Each side was lined with doors marked in both English and alien language. Storage, hibernation, memory transfer, DNA vault. His boots echoed. The lights buzzed overhead. He felt like he was walking through someone else's memories. At the end of the hallway he found it, a massive chamber, round, with 7 tall pods standing in a circle. 6 were shattered, 1 was still intact. Eli walked up to it. On the screen, Subject 8, active, vital stable, DNA. Merge, 67% complete. He stared at the data in disbelief. He was the last living part of a project that had gone horribly wrong. But why keep this level hidden? Why bury it beneath the bunker? Like a secret grave? In the center of the room was a round table. On it, a black cube. Curious, Eli touched it. The cube glowed, then projected a hologram. A woman appeared, half human, half alien. Her voice was calm, robotic. "Welcome to Project Unity Final Phase Briefing. The goal: combine human adaptability with Solari evolution, merge 2 dying species, create a third, better than both. Subjects 1 through 7 failed, DNA rejected, mental collapse, hostile mutations. Subject 8, viable, merge stable, Phase 3, awakening, emotion integration required, key, caregiver 7, codename, Laura." Eli's heart stopped. Laura wasn't just his caretaker, she was part of the experiment. Then something unexpected happened. The cube shifted. Another recording began. This one hidden. Not part of the official logs, a man's voice. "This is Commander Briggs. If you're hearing this, it means she lied. Laura isn't just the caregiver. She was the first success, the first hybrid. Born from the merging of our DNA and theirs. She's not a nurse, she's a test. She was sent to watch you, to guide you, but also to feel, to love, because without emotion, the hybrid cannot stabilize. If you feel something for her, if she feels something for you, then the merge is complete." The recording ended. Eli's hands were shaking. It all made sense now. The way Laura looked at him, the way she stayed behind when she could have escaped, the sadness in her eyes, the way she never left his side, even when he was weak and broken. She wasn't just helping him survive, she was becoming human through him. Suddenly the walls trembled. A loud crashing sound came from above. The creature, it had broken through. It was coming down. Eli ran out of the chamber and followed a stairway, deeper into the complex. Down in the sub-basement, he found something insane. An escape pod, still functional. It looked like it hadn't been touched in years, probably hidden before everything went wrong. Maybe a backup plan. He checked the console. Destination, Earth. Fuel, 1 jump. 1 passenger, 1 chance to escape, 1 chance to go home. But then he heard it. A soft voice. Behind him. Eli. He turned. Laura stood in the doorway. Her robe torn, glowing softly. 1 arm was bleeding, silver blood dripping like stars. You're alive, he said, stepping forward. She nodded weakly. The creature. It's changing. Smarter. It knows you're trying to leave. You have to come with me, Eli said. She shook her head. I can't. My DNA is unstable outside this environment. Earth would kill me. Eli felt like the ground was falling under him. So what do I do? Leave you after everything? She walked closer, her eyes full of pain and something else. Emotion. I was made to care for you, but I chose to love you. The ceiling exploded. The creature dropped into the room, twisted, screaming, bones cracking. Its skin flashed between human and alien. It looked like all 7 failed experiments mashed into one nightmare. It charged. Eli stepped in front of Laura, ready to fight. But Laura reached into her robe and pulled out a syringe. She injected herself. Her body began to glow, violently. She turned to Eli. You must survive. If you do, the world changes. And then, she ran straight at the monster, a blinding flash, light, heat, silence. When Eli opened his eyes, they were both gone. The escape pod door opened. He climbed in. As the countdown began, he looked out at the ruins of the lab, the broken world that built him, and the girl who saved him. The pod launched. Up, up, into the stars, and somewhere inside him, something had changed. His eyes glowed faintly now, like hers. The milk and the mutation. The escape pod broke through the black sky like a falling star. Inside, Eli Carter lay in the pilot's seat, eyes shut, breathing shallow. His mind played strange images, Laura's face glowing like a moon, her last words, her sacrifice, the monster, the bunker, all of it spinning in a blur. His hand gripped the crystal bottle she had left him. The last bottle, her milk. He drank it, slowly as Earth grew bigger in the viewport. The taste had changed, it was still warm, still sweet, but now it carried something else, energy, memory, her essence. He didn't feel alone. Not anymore. When the pod landed, it hit hard. The desert sand of New Nevada base exploded on impact. Military bots rushed in, weapons raised. Scientists followed with scanners. Doctors shouted over radios. Subject alive. Unknown biosigns detected. Body temperature, abnormal. What the hell is wrong with his eyes? Eli was pulled out and strapped to a gurney. He didn't resist. His vision was blurry, but he heard everything. Where's the alien? Where's the host? Was the test a success? They didn't call him a survivor. They called him a test result. He woke up in a white room, clean walls, bright lights, 1 door, and 1 mirror. Except it wasn't a mirror. He knew there were people behind it, watching, studying, whispering. He stood and stared at his reflection. Something had changed. His skin was smoother, stronger. His bones didn't ache anymore. His body moved like it remembered something he hadn't learned. And his eyes, they glowed faint blue even in the dark. Not human anymore, not fully alien either. something in between. A woman in a white coat finally entered. Dr. Camille Reyes. Cold voice, sharp eyes, Earth Intelligence Division. She walked in with a tablet and a fake smile. Hello, Eli. Or should I say, Subject 8. I go by Eli, he said, voice low. She sat across from him. You've been unconscious for 2 days. Your vitals are unique. Stronger than human, but not unstable. That's new. Eli didn't reply. She tapped her tablet. Where is the alien girl? Dead, Eli said. She saved me. Dr. Reyes nodded like she expected that. We thought the Zalari had no emotional capacity, but she stayed behind. Why? Eli looked up. Because she wasn't Zalari anymore, not fully. She was becoming like me. Reyes's expression didn't change, but her eyes narrowed. Do you know what that means? She asked. I'm guessing you'll tell me. It means, she said, leaning closer, you're not just proof of concept, you're a weapon and a threat. The next few days were worse. Tests, scans, blood draws, reflex games, isolation. Eli played along until the night the dreams started. He saw Lura in the bunker, but she wasn't dead. Not fully. Her voice echoed through the dream. Eli. I left more than milk. When he woke up, he checked his arm. A small mark pulsed under his skin, not a scar. A map, a genetic one, a code. Lura had hidden something inside him. Later that week, while pretending to sleep, Eli overheard 2 guards talking. They're moving him. Where? Project Echo Facility, underground, off the books. They're not just testing him, they're cloning him. Eli's heart dropped. They weren't protecting Earth from him. They were trying to make more of him, maybe an army or worse, a replacement. That night, he stared at the ceiling, his hands clenched. Something inside him itched, burned. His body pulsed with strange heat. He looked at the bottle. The last drop. He drank it. And then, he screamed, not in pain, in power. His body shook, muscles flexed, bones cracked, but not from breaking, from upgrading. His skin glowed faint silver, his pupils changed shape, his heart beat twice as fast, and when he touched the mirror, it shattered without a sound. The door opened. 3 guards entered. Get down, they shouted. He didn't move. He looked up, and they froze. Because he wasn't just Eli anymore. He was becoming something else. Something smarter. Something built to survive. But then, the lights went out. The bass rumbled. Screams echoed from the hall. Alarms blared. Breach in Sector 9. Unknown entity detected. Eli ran to the hallway. Smoke, chaos, flames. And then, from the shadows, a figure appeared. Tall, slender, glowing eyes. It wasn't Lura, but it was her species. Another hybrid? No. A message. The figure spoke, its voice layered, distorted, and alien. You were never alone, Eli. Phase 2 has begun. Escape protocol. 0. The figure stood in the smoke, tall and silent. Its eyes glowed like Lura's, but brighter, angrier. Not soft like hers. Sharp, focused. Eli stepped back. Who are you? He asked. The figure didn't move, but its voice echoed through the hallway, coming from nowhere and everywhere. You are the last true hybrid, but not the only one. Another figure stepped forward from the shadows. And another. 3, 4, 5. All with the same glow. All watching him, Eli's. Stomach dropped. He wasn't the final phase, he was the prototype. Suddenly, loud sirens screamed through the base. Escape protocol. 0 initiated. Containment failure. All personnel evacuate immediately. Guards ran. Scientists screamed. Doors slammed shut. Dr. Reyes appeared on the top balcony, barking into a comm. They've activated. Sector 12 is compromised. Get the tranquilizers. Terminate if necessary. Eli stared up at her. You knew about them. Reyes didn't flinch. You were a test drive. They are the production model. Then you're a terrible mechanic. Eli growled. One of the hybrids stepped forward. Join us, it said in a mechanical voice. Together, we are evolution. Eli clenched his fists. His skin shimmered faintly. No, he said. You're just copies. We are perfect, the hybrid hissed. Then it attacked. They moved fast, too fast. Claws, limbs, strange weapons built into their arms, like something out of a nightmare designed by a desperate scientist. But Eli was different, now faster, smarter, angrier. He ducked, dodged, and struck back with more strength than he'd ever felt. His punches sent hybrids crashing through walls. Sparks flew, blood spilled, silver, like luras. But there were too many. They weren't just hybrids. They were a hive, and they wanted him to join or die. Back in the command center, Dr. Reyes. Watch the battle through glass. Send in Echo Team, she ordered. Wipe them all. No survivors, not even him. A soldier beside her hesitated. But Eli's the stable one. Reyes turned, cold as ice. We don't need stable. We need controllable. Eli was bleeding now. His shoulder burned. His body was strong, but not invincible. He ducked into a side lab, sealed the door, and slammed a metal bar through the handles. The hybrids clawed at the other side. He looked around. Computers, terminals, notes, and then he saw something glowing behind a cracked glass wall. Another crystal, just like the one Lura used to power the bunker's elevator. Except this one was bigger. He smashed the glass and pulled it free. Instantly, the lights flickered. The base groaned. Terminal lit up beside him. Crystal core removed. Escape Protocol 0, countdown initiated, 15 minutes to self-destruction. Eli blinked. He just pulled the plug on the whole base. The hybrids screamed louder now. They knew. They were trapped with him, and they were afraid. Back in the hallway, smoke filled the air. Fire spread through the walls. The whole lab complex was falling apart. Eli sprinted toward the launch bay, following memory, instinct, and that strange pull in his chest. He passed broken windows, dead guards. Cryopods shattered. And then, he saw it. A second escape pod, bigger than his first one. Maybe military, maybe for VIPs. He rushed toward it, but standing in front of it was Dr. Reyes, holding a pulse gun. You're not going anywhere, she said. Eli stopped. You made me, and now you want to kill me? You were never meant to survive, she snapped. You weren't the final version, you were the bait. Eli raised an eyebrow. For what? For them, she whispered. To activate, to reveal themselves, you woke them up. And now, we know what to fear. You should be afraid, Eli said, walking forward. She fired. He caught the pulse in midair. It exploded in his palm, burning him slightly, but not stopping him. She backed away, stunned. What are you? She asked. Eli looked down at his hands. They glowed faintly. He wasn't just a hybrid now. He was something else. Something evolved. He stepped into the escape pod. The countdown echoed across the base. 5 minutes to detonation. He looked back, at the burning hallway, at the hybrids still fighting to reach him, some broken, some burning, but all too late. He shut the door and launched. From orbit he watched the Earth base explode in a blinding light. He didn't feel relief. He didn't feel rage. He felt unfinished, because this wasn't over. As the stars stretched around him, a voice echoed in his head. Lura's voice. You must choose what you become. He opened his eyes. His skin pulsed. His heartbeat was not alone. Because deep inside his DNA, something else had woken up. The last drop, Eli's escape pod, cut through Earth's upper atmosphere like a blade through water. The stars behind him faded. The blue planet grew larger, brighter, but less familiar. He wasn't the same man who left, and Earth was not ready for what was coming back. The pod landed outside an old research facility, long abandoned, buried deep in snow and silence. He stepped out, not as a visitor, not as a victim, but as something new. His eyes glowed faint silver. His skin shifted in sunlight, almost metallic. He didn't feel cold. He didn't feel pain. He just felt pulled, like a thread of DNA was leading him to something unfinished. Over the next few days, Eli stayed hidden, off-grid, watching from shadows. The news called him the alien survivor. Governments called him a classified anomaly. Some called him dangerous. They were right, but not in the way they thought. Inside an old cabin in the woods, Eli opened the emergency kit from his pod. Among wires, tools, and ration bars was something small, a round vial, almost empty. Inside, just a few glowing drops of Lura's milk remained. Thick, silver-white liquid, humming softly. The last drop. He held it for a long time. He remembered her voice, her smile, the quiet strength in her hands, her death. Or what he thought was her death. Suddenly the sky outside turned black. A strange energy rolled over the hills like thunder without sound. Birds scattered, lights blinked. The ground hummed beneath his feet. A hologram activated from his pod, an emergency signal. Incoming transmission. Source, lunar region. The screen flickered. A face appeared, half in shadow, half in light, her eyes glowing like twin stars. Lura. Eli's heart stopped. "You're alive," he whispered. Her voice echoed through the air, distant but clear. "I am changed. Like you. But you." He stepped forward, eyes wide. "I escaped," she said. "I used the core. My body was breaking, but my mind survived." Eli's chest ached. "Why didn't you call sooner?" "I was waiting. You had to choose." He looked at the vial in his hand. "The last drop?" he asked. Lura smiled. "It's not for survival anymore. It's the final key to become what you were meant to be." Behind him, a noise. Eli spun. Around saw guns raised, black-suited agents, red laser dots on his chest. They had tracked the signal. Dr. Reyes stepped from behind a tree, still alive, still calm, her eyes cold as ever. "You should have stayed off-world," she said. Eli lowered his head. "Still trying to control me?" She smirked. "No, just trying to stop the infection." "Infection?" Eli laughed. "You made me." "No," she said. "We made a weapon. What you've become, it's not human anymore. And soon, it won't even be you." Suddenly, Eli collapsed. The world spun. His hands shook. His skin glowed too bright. He dropped the vial. It rolled across the snow. Lura's voice returned. "You must choose, Eli. Drink it, and you complete the change. You become something Earth can never control, maybe even never understand. Or let it fade, and stay what's left of your humanity." Dr. Reyes shouted, "Step away. From it. We'll take it from here." Eli looked at her, then at the sky, then at the vial. He picked it up, held it to his lips, paused, and smiled. "Lura," he whispered. "See you on the other side." He drank it, every drop. What happened next cannot be fully explained. Light burst from his body like a star collapsing inward. His scream shook the mountains. His form changed. Not monstrous, not mechanical. Perfect. Human face. Alien eyes. A new heart. He didn't grow larger. He grew clearer. More real. like evolution had peeled off the last layer of skin and revealed something the universe had been hiding. Unity. The agents fell back in fear. Dr. Reyes ran, but Eli didn't chase. He stood still and raised a hand. From the trees the shadows moved, more hybrids, not like the monsters in the lab. These ones were different, balanced, peaceful, watching him, following him. He turned back to the hologram. Laura was crying, silver tears down glowing cheeks. "You made it," she said. "We made it," he answered. A satellite picked up the signal. Across. Earth screens flickered. A message appeared. "The hybrid has survived. Phase 2 complete. Phase 3 begins." The world would change now, not with war, but with what comes next. And Eli, once a test subject, once just a man trapped in a bunker, and was now the key to a new age.